Dude, I am 2 days away from leaving Santa Barbara. Um, I wanted to kind of just check in, record one of these. Have not done it in a while. I feel like these months that I have been flying by, and it's just like, whoa. But I wanted to do it so I just could split it up between today and when I get back home, so that way I don't miss too much information like I did in the Hawaii trip. I was actually just listening to a podcast and they were talking about writing because it's a good way to kind of merge your thoughts into something that you can access in the future. And I was like, that's what I wanted to do this for. So I had braids actually. I cut my hair after a really long time. I had some really cool braids. Um, and then I just took them out because one of the homegirls over here, Diana, might do them again, which would be dope. Hope she does. But man, yeah, 1 month in Santa Barbara flew by. Um, but let's get to it. So I got into Georgetown first of all. That is freaking crazy. Did not think I would ever. Um, it makes me feel really, really, really good. Like I feel like very um, validated by for my work and for my knowledge. As opposed to validated for my looks or some other nonsense. I feel very validated for what's in here. I've been reading this month, man. The things I'm really proud of myself for is I was meditating at least 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. I was doing yoga something like at least once or twice a week. I was reading almost every single I wouldn't say every single day, but I was reading a good amount. Started playing chess, I started playing my sax, I was singing. I was doing a lot of really good mental health things alone. Um, could have definitely slept earlier, but so it goes. Back into college town, it felt like I was in college again, but definitely different. Not like I was in college, but more like I was like aware of the differences of um, what I would have done when if I was in college right now versus kind of being like this outsider. I got thrown into a lot of social situations where like everyone else was already friends and they already had their own thing going. So kind of being placed in there for just a month or whatever was kind of interesting to see. I fucking lived near Mirage after so long, so that was really dope. For some reason, it looks like I shaved my eyebrows. I kind of look like how I looked when I shaved my eyebrows off, huh? It's crazy, but yeah. I don't know, man. I been kind of feeling good about how far I've come, but I always go through these situations where I very much come into contact with the flawed person that I am, and I guess in my head I guess like something I need to explore a little bit more, and I'm excited to do these again because I'll be able to have this opportunity to actually speak with someone myself. But one thing I think I should explore is like what is that like ideal person that you're shooting for? I have this like image, and I think one part of it is like half of it is like my mom, like this idea of like this truly selfless being where like you do things for others for you one get pleasure from it, which I don't know, you can spark the debate whether that's selfless or not, but let's keep that to the side for right now. Let's just say for me, selfless is where you're doing actions for others, even if you get happiness from it. Because selflessness can't be like something you do which sucks for you, which is painful for you, but you do for others. I mean, I don't know. That seems like a flawed definition of selfless because at what point will you ever do something for someone else if it like puts you through like insane pain? So I guess in that way, nothing is selfless. So even if I use the word selfless, maybe I don't mean that. Let's just change the definition and I say, anything I say selfish, it's selfish, selfless. I do selfless things to feel good. At the end of the day, it's all rooted in selfishness. But let's just say that those acts can still be selfless. I guess like something that I value a lot is being able to be that person that does that for others. And I don't even know why. Maybe not. Maybe that's not. Maybe that's just like something I shoot for. But maybe that's something I don't need to ever do. Maybe you just take care of yourself, do your own thing, get through life, and do what you feel comfortable with, and see where that takes you. Maybe like being this selfless being is not really necessarily the goal that you need to really strive for. But we'll see. Um, let's see. They're bumping out there. Some fucking Indian music has been lit. So I lived with Ala, Makash, Sam, Kaylin, and Zach and Nick this year, this month, and it's been really nice, man. Getting to meet some new people. I'm getting better at that lifestyle of like meeting people, being okay with it being over, getting over it quickly, but then like really being in the present with people, and I really like who I'm becoming. But that being said, what I was talking about earlier, that that main thing opening up for me, what it exactly is there's a big part of me that's still, and I've known this for a while, but how a lot of my actions are truly rooted in some sort of validation seeking purposes, like everything I do, like and one big thing I've had recently is like, I have a lot of beautiful girls here, obviously, and I do feel like anytime I even slightly end up resonating with a woman, like what they have to say, kind of like being around them, I can't differentiate in my head between like liking them as a friend and liking them. Like I literally cannot make that distinction. Like even if I fuck with them as a friend to begin with, I like them as a friend so much that eventually I'm like, oh, I kind of like you more than that. But I don't know what it is. I think I do need to. So let's explore right now. Let's take this time to actually explore that. So I think the issue, is that not even an issue. I think the thing is that for me, if I like you as a person, and I think, okay, what does that mean? What does it mean to like, for me to like somebody? It means, one, I like the way you think. I think you have innovative ideas, and I think that the stuff that you bring to the table is not something just every single person knows. Like there's 20 things that every person in our society right now believes, like blah blah. But for example, let me actually be detailed. That way I don't, be more structured in my thoughts. So what I mean by that is like, for example, if you think, oh, like poor people have it the worst. I'm not saying that's true or false. I'm saying there's some things like that that are super taken for granted. And anybody who has even one view that's slightly differing from what is like super mainstream, I'm like, okay, you're capable of making your own decision and own ideas. And to me, that means a lot because from there, not only is it important for people to have unorthodox ideas, but it's also to like have it backed up with rationale, whether it's through the books that you read, whether it's through the experiences you've lived. It's dope to be like, okay, you have these set of ideas that are different from the rest of us, and I love people like that. So to me, that's the one thing that I really like in people. Two, I really like people who are like obviously kind, but kind, and this is a big difference. To me, anybody who thinks they're beautiful or they're cool because they're more beautiful than others, I think like hold a very like tenacious is the word I want to use, but that's not the right word. Kind of just like a rude way of looking at life, like where like their worth comes in being better and it's not any inherent worth. So if they were we talked about this earlier. If you put you in a society system where you're worse than, or you're less than the people around you, all of a sudden your entire self-image changes, which I am too. I'm just saying these are things I find beautiful in people, where you don't think you're beautiful, you don't think you're worth it because you're more worth it than other people. You're more beautiful than other people. There's certain things I hear when people are like, "Fuck my ex," like. I will always do better than them, as if like people are to be like judged on this like scale, So people who like someone who doesn't think like that is beautiful to me. Obviously, to some extent, I am going to be. There are shallow extents of what it means for me to like somebody. I like beautiful faces. I mean, to me, I think that's a man want. Beautiful face, beautiful personality really moves into the beautiful face, I think. But I think like the mind is really important to me because like that's what you're dating at the end of the day. The body is just also a part of it, but the both of them. You got it. Both has to be beautiful. But what a beautiful body looks like to me is like you taking care of yourself, like you don't always drink and you're just eating healthy, you drink water, you do your self-care things. Like to me that's very beautiful. And so when I meet a girl who even remotely looks like this, I feel like all the boundaries, everything I've built just crash immediately. It's like, okay, I like this girl, when's the next text, when it's just like so toxic immediately for me. And it's like, how can I ever be in a healthy relationship if immediately I'm like this? So, coming back to what I was saying earlier, it's like when I see these things in somebody, I want to be your friend. I'm like, you're somebody I want in my life. But then it's like, what is the difference between that and where do you draw the line from that to dating? Especially if it's like, I'm only going to date Indian girls. Then I can be friends with all the other races because it's like, there's no way I'll ever marry or date any of them. But it's like, when my boundaries are more open, it's like, okay, now what's the difference? Where do I be like, okay, I really fuck with you as a human being, but in my mind, I'm going to be like, I would never date you. Because if I feel like I would never date you, why would I be your friend? That's where I'm like, I'm confused. If I really am like so like disgusted by you in some aspect of your life, like why would I be your friend? So that's something that doesn't make sense to me. I feel like I end up liking a lot of people, and then I'm like, with men you can like them a lot, but you don't date them. At least in my sexual orientation. But it's like if you really like a woman, how do like fuck, it's tough. So that's why I'm having trouble with, because it's like I meet a lot of really intelligent women and I'm like, fuck, like I like you, but I can't like you all the time. I got to make friends, you know. So I'm having a tough time with that. I think what the move should be is to, I don't know what the move is, because that feeling of like you like them is just so like man, and it's like a gnawing feeling in the back. So it's like, what do you do then, you know? Um, but what I learned from that is boundaries, man. This month, I think I set boundaries. One, I had this super toxic conversation with my mom, and I was like, I don't even want to be doing this anymore. What I learned from that is I have to be better at knowing when a conversation is going to shit and cutting it off right there. No point dragging it on. Usually it's because you're hungry or tired or bored. Find when a conversation is not leading to anywhere. Boom, cut it. We will come back to this later. I understand what you're saying. Let's come back later. You know, really getting your point across and not arguing, I think, is very important. I'm getting better at that skill because, especially if you get in a relationship or something, those conversations can be so mentally draining. It's just not worth it, right? So, that's good. So I think I got better at that. I got better at drawing boundaries, you know, just understanding my words. But that's all bullshit, you know, like you're only really tested when it comes to a situation where like, can you maintain that level of self-respect in situations where you are seeking validation, or can you minimize the amount of times you seek validation, or can you find that validation within yourself? um, so been reading, man. One question I do want to ask myself is, how do I think of myself? And I want to spend this time to actually talk about that a bit. How do I view myself? I think I'm smart. What does that mean? I think I can problem solve. When I say smart, I think I, given a problem, I can solve it. Be it a problem in life, be it a problem on a computer, be a math problem. I think I have the tools to learn how to do something and solve it. I think that's something I'm proud of myself in. I think I'm open-minded. I think I can. I think I'm very proud of the fact that I'm not super judgmental. I'm pretty cool with, you know, anything. Um, oh yeah, dude. Also, I got pierced right here, which is crazy. Um, but yeah. What else do I think? Who like? How do I view myself? Not who I am, because I think that's what I've been thinking so much. Like, what does it mean to be? Let alone school. You know, maybe there's nothing there, but what do you think of yourself? It's a different question for sure. And you know, what do I think of myself? Weak. I think of myself as weak physically. Maybe all my other personality traits come from that. My kindness, my soft nature, everything comes from the fact that I feel like I'm weak. Would I be those same people if I felt like I was fucking huge? Can't say. Um, but yes, I do need to think about that a little more, ponder upon that. But I want to start doing these again because this is very therapeutic and I'm already feeling better. Really being able to. Okay, sorry, someone came in. But I don't know where I am. But you know, reading everything, I think I am progressing in a direction that I do like. And we got to just see from there. And I think more recordings, just you know, being able to capture where I am at that moment in life is something I really like. But I think you know, looking towards the future, becoming more present. I really like this idea, man. For some reason, it really resonates with me. Being able to capture these thoughts, ideas, and really ponder. Use this time to actually ponder on thoughts and go deeper into it. But yes. So figure it out, man. Uh, so it's Friday. I'm excited to go out, see some friends. But yeah, good luck, sir. I will record in 3 days a more, you know, comprehensive, looking back, retrospective understanding of this entire trip. All right.